The leader of Brazil's central bank calls it quits, leaving behind an economy in crisis. With opening statements in his impeachment trial less than a day away, U.S. President Bill Clinton tries to ignore the sounds of sharpening swords and letting the air out of professional basketball. What will it be like without Mike? I'm Riz Khan of the CNN Center. Welcome to World News. Michael Jordan's expected to announce his retirement from professional basketball in just a few minutes. He's to give his news conference in Chicago. You can see live pictures there of the site. It's the home of his professional basketball team, the Chicago Bulls. Jordan's considered by many to be the greatest athlete ever to set foot on a basketball court. We'll, of course, return with live coverage of the event when it begins there in Chicago. Nervous in United States, we go now to Chicago, where Michael Jordan's news conference has begun.
1999, the abbreviated season. Michael Jordan is here to retire, though, and he will let you know his thoughts in this press conference.
We have CNN Sports Illustrated's Phil Jones here with us as well. CNN SI's sports expert on Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan will begin it.
Michael Jordan's about to start in a moment, Phil. Just give us a little bit of background to the significance of this event.
He's one of the greatest sporting icons the world has ever seen. You know, soccer had Pele, boxing had Muhammad Ali, basketball has had Michael Jordan. He's had a storied 14-year career or so, 10 times the league scoring champion, 6 titles in the last 8 years. He's a phenomenal talent. You can't underestimate what an impact he's had on it, and he's about to give his announcement right now.
Tell my wife coming down, I felt like I was getting married. You know. But I guess the first and foremost thing that I want to do, and I think everybody here and today is not just a day for Michael Jordan. I think it's a lot of other serious things happening in the world, and I think I wanted to take time out to, from my family and hopefully from you guys, to give condolences to the officer that was killed in action, who so happened to have his funeral presentations today at the same time, which is, you know, kind of unfortunate. And I think that puts a lot of things in perspective in terms of what life is really about. You know, my responsibility has been to play the game of basketball and relieve some of the pressures of everyday life, you know, for people who have worked from 9 to 5, and I've tried to do that with the best of my abilities. But I think what's happening with his family and certainly unfortunate circumstances that happened, I'd like to pass on my condolences from my family to his, and I'm pretty sure you guys mean the same thing. I am here to announce my retirement from the game of basketball. It won't be another announcement to baseball or anything to that nature. I think everyone has their own reasonings. There's been a lot of speculations in terms of why. I'm pretty sure I get to that point once you guys get the opportunity to ask questions. But I want to say thank you to both of the gentlemen here, Mr. Stern and Mr. Reinsdorf, for presenting me with the opportunity to play the game of basketball, and certainly giving me an opportunity to come to Chicago and meet my beautiful wife and build a family here, and my family in North Carolina, a lot of my friends who have come up to support this day and support me, who have always supported me once I stepped on the basketball court, and even when I didn't play on the basketball court. I want to say thanks to both of those gentlemen, and to all the fans in Chicago for allowing me to come here, and they have adapted me to be one of theirs, and in response, I've tried to step on the basketball court and get rid of the gangster mentality that Chicago was known for a long time. And I think successfully myself and my teammates and the whole organization has made an effort to change the perspective about Chicago. And we are hopefully going to be known as a championship city. And I hope it continues on even when Michael Jordan's not in uniform. I will support the Chicago Bulls. I think the game itself is a lot bigger than Michael Jordan. I've been given an opportunity by people before me, to name a few: Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dr. J, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West. These guys have played the game way before Michael Jordan was born. And Michael Jordan came on the heels of all that activity, and with Mr. Stern and what he's done for the league, and gave me an opportunity to play the game of basketball. And I played it to the best that I could play it, and I've tried to enhance the game itself. I've tried to be the best basketball player I could be, and next thing you know, here we are as a league. And I think the league is going to continue on, although we've had our troubles over the last 6 months. I think that's a reality check for all of us, that it is a business, but yet it's still fun. It's still a game, and the game will continue on. Once again, I've had a great time, you know, and I can't say enough for the people who have supported me. And you know, my life will take a change. And a lot of people say, well, Michael Jordan didn't have any challenges away from the game of basketball. Well, I dispute that. You know, being a parent is very challenging. If you have kids, you know that. You know, and I welcome that challenge, and I look forward to it. And you know, I will live vicariously through my kids as they play the game of basketball. If they don't, you know, I will support that. You know, my wife and I would do the same. You know, we would do what we can as parents to make sure that happens. And you know, that's the challenge that I have in front of me, and I look forward to that. You know, unfortunately, my mother and my family, my brothers and sisters could not be here. But as you see me, you see them. You know, my father, my mother, and certainly my brothers and sisters. So they are here through me, and they once, along with myself, said thank you for taking me in and showing me the respect and certainly the gratitude that you have shown me over the years that I've been here. I will be in Chicago for my career, hopefully, for the rest of my life. My wife won't allow me to move nowhere else. So I will be in Chicago, and I will support Chicago teams. And, you know, that's all I really, truly had to say. You know, I thought about saying just 2 words, I'm gone, but I figured I owe the fans and certainly the media a little bit more than that. So that's one of my reasons for being here. And I guess Jerry wants to speak first before David, and I'll pass it over to Jerry.
Well, this is a day that I think I hoped would never come. It has to be the toughest day in the history of the Chicago Bulls. It's a tough day for Chicago. It's a tough day for the NBA. It's a tough day for basketball fans all over the world, and for Michael Jordan fans all over the world. Standing here in the United Center, where Michael Jordan has given us so many wonderful moments, performances, and championships, it's hard to imagine games being played here without him. Michael is simply the best player who ever put on a basketball uniform. He has defined the Bulls, the city, and the NBA for more than a decade. He will always represent the standard of excellence. His statue out in front of the building will greet everybody who ever enters this building again. When Michael retired in 1993, we retired his number 23 and hung it in a position of prominence from the rafters. When Michael came back from baseball, he asked me to take it down. He felt funny about playing when his number was hanging up above, and so we took it down. Today, Michael, we are returning your number 23 to its rightful place of honor, where it will forever serve as a reminder of your dominance on this court and your dominance of this game. Somebody will... There we go. And someday, Michael, the White Sox might retire 45. And to my leader, David Stern, the truth is that for what Michael has meant to the NBA, this number could very well be retired in every arena in the league. Certainly, we in Chicago think that anybody who wears number 23 with a basketball uniform would look like a pretender. Finally, Michael, I have one thing to present to you. For the last season, for the last game, for the last shot, I would like to present to you the 1998 World Championship ring which certainly means a lot to all of us. Where is it? So, Michael, thank you very much for what you have meant to all of the world. There'll never be another one like you.
Jerry, Michael, would you get in front of the banner so we can get a autograph? Oh, that's it for now.
Michael, I get to say thank you for 29 teams and hundreds of millions of fans around the world. Thank you for what you've meant to our game. Thank you for being who you were, not only for your leadership and greatness on the court, but for who you were and will continue to be off the court. Your contributions to the NBA are immeasurable, despite the fact that every newspaper in the country has an insert to detail those today, and every network has a series of programs to do it. I don't think they could ever capture all that you've meant to us. Thank you for gracing our court for 13 seasons, and I disagree with Jerry. This is not a sad day. This is a great day, because the greatest basketball player in the history of the game is getting the opportunity to retire with the grace that described his play. So to you and to Juanita and to the challenge that you define of parenthood, I wish you nothing but continued success and hope that you continue to have the good health that goes with it. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'd like to attempt to do the question and answer session in an orderly fashion. We've got 4 microphones out in the crowd here. If those of you holding the microphone could raise your hand so we can at least... Oh, I see, okay.
Over here. Michael, when did you decide to retire, and why did you wait until today to announce it?
Maybe I'm not supposed to answer that question, but actually, I talked to Jerry last year once the season ended, and I told Jerry at that time that mentally I was a little exhausted. I didn't know if I would play next year. I wanted to put him on awareness so that he could possibly prepare going into next season. And Jerry, once we had our conversation, wanted me to take time, as I did in '93, to make sure that it was the right decision, because it was going to be the final decision. And he encouraged me to wait until the time came to where I made that announcement. And in the middle of that process, with the lockout, I wanted to support the players. I wanted to be there and voice some of the opinions of some of the players and give my input, because I felt it as an obligation to the players of tomorrow, just as the players before me have stood up and supported the collective bargaining agreement for me to utilize in my negotiations. I felt obligated to do the same. And so when the lockout ended, I felt appropriate to, at this particular time, announce my retirement, so that it could give the Bulls an opportunity to do what they have to do in terms of getting their future on and utilizing the financial gains of my contract being renounced or terminated to where they can rebuild or build another structure amongst the team. So that's one of the reasons that I waited until this point.
You compare the reasons for your retirement, feeling about it, to the last time you retired, and why you're so certain this role in it for you?
Well, it's very similar. Mentally, I'm not exhausted. I don't feel I have a challenge. Physically, I feel great. The last time in '93, I had other agendas. I knew I wanted to play baseball, and I felt that at my age, it was a good opportunity time to do it. And, with the with the death of my father, and I was basically trying to deal with that. And this time, I'm at peace with a lot of those things. I know, you know, from a career standpoint, I've accomplished everything I could as an individual. And right now, I don't have the mental challenges that I've had in the past to proceed as a basketball player. Sure, I'm pretty sure people say, well, it's a lot of different challenges that could evolve. And you know, for me, to start something and then in the middle of the season lose interest and lose my motivation, it's unfair to the people that I'm working with and working for and to the fans. So I alleviated that opportunity by saying, you know, this is the perfect time for me to walk away from the game. And I'm at peace with that. And unfortunately, we've had some problems in the collective bargaining agreement, but you know, I think those situations have solved, and we have to get past that.
Michael Jordan does it. He announces his retirement from professional basketball. Here we've got CNN's Phil Jones joining us to give us some explanation on what this means for the basketball world. Basically a bad time for him to go, though, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah, for the NBA, it's a bad time for him to go because the lockout ended recently, just a couple of weeks ago, in fact. They've got the shortened season, and fans are not too happy with the lockout. Players have paid a lot of money. They were a little bit disgruntled that the players were holding out for as long as they were, and the season's only going to be 50 games or so, and they would have liked, obviously, Michael Jordan to be in there at the NBA so that the season can progress with some kind of force and bring the fans back.
And of course, they say that the adrenaline for top stars like Michael Jordan in music, in sports and everything else is too much for them to miss after a while, and like last time, he may just pop back. What do you think this time?
I don't think he'll pop back this time. No, this is it. I think before, as he just talked about, he had certain other issues, the death of his father, and he wanted to try his arm at something different. Baseball didn't work out for him, and he came back in '95 and won 3 more titles with the Bulls. He's done it all. He doesn't need to do any more. He's a ridiculously wealthy man. He wants to get on with his family life, and I'm sure he'll pursue his business interests as well.
And of course, everyone has said that he's basically the best-known athlete. You can see the score there on the screen, what he's basically accomplished in his career, an incredible career.
It's incredible. I mean, the career average there, 31.5 points on average per game. That's the highest ever. Scoring titles 10, nobody's ever done that. 6 final MVP awards, nobody's ever done that either. And 5 MVPs overall in the league. That's tied for second in his career points. He's only behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain in that list. An incredible record.
There is that view that perhaps he can go now gracefully at the top and that he risks fading if he tries to carry on after now. What do you think about that?
Well, there's always that possibility, of course, if he carries on and his skills wane. And he did go out at the very, very top because his very last shot in the NBA was the one that won the title for the Bulls last year against Utah. So how much better can that be? What a way to go out.
All right, Phil, a great loss to the sports world there. Phil Jones giving us an update on what was happening there. Of course, we'll bring you more news at the top of the hour, what's happening here on CNN, so stay tuned. We'll be back in half an hour with more world news.
Jochen Sattler hat es richtig erzählt, wir sind im